ancient maps and overlays and footpaths on your Garmin GPS to use while you're metal detecting. That's what we're looking at today. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, bought a Garmin GPS a few days ago, 2 days, 3 days ago. It only got base world maps on it, so I decided I needed more maps so it's a little bit more accurate for the metal detecting. I bought it just to do waypoints, to mark any finds that I found out there. When I started to look for maps, I realised that you could do custom maps. Now when I go metal detecting on a field, what I like to do is use some of these overlay maps on the internet, and I'll put links in the description where the one is that I use. And I usually get those, print them out, half opaque, print it, take it with me so I can see where the footpaths are. So it occurred to me, if you could do custom maps, and perhaps you could customise those maps to use those overlays and put them on your Garmin. Didn't take me too long to work it out. I've got it done now and it works beautifully. So you can see there, that's one of my overlays for a village not far from me, and you can see all the footpaths, and it's fully scrollable, normal stuff, and your pointer will pinpoint you on that map so you can walk along that footpath as you see it on your GPS. So no more guesswork looking at a piece of paper where you think the footpaths might have been. You can actually walk down those footpaths. So this is my tutorial. I posted it on Facebook just saying look what I've done. Got loads of interest, so I promised a tutorial. This is it. Very little equipment that you need. You need your laptop, the link I'll do to the maps. You need Paint, or I use an old version of Paint Shop Pro, and you need Google Earth Pro. Again, that's free. Paint's free, comes on Windows, but any paint program. So let's kick in and we'll go through what you need to do to get your Garmin to have maps like this. And it doesn't affect the actual maps on there. These will overlay. I've got a UK map on now, and this overlays that area with that map. And you can also have multiple ones, so if you do maps for all of your fields, you can put them all on at the same time and they'll just overlay the main map in that area for you. So yeah, shouldn't need anything special, just follow this tutorial and I'll hopefully explain it for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel, so thank you very much. Hope this is useful to you, and let's crack on with the tutorial. Okay, so here we are in National Library of Scotland maps. You can do a Geo Explorer up here, and you show it as an overlay. So what it lets you do is overlay old maps onto your normal GPS map. So this is what I tend to use if I'm going to a field. You can come in and move the opacity down this corner and find your field. So this is Leinster, between Ludlow and Hereford, and you can see all the fields and stuff around here. So what I tend to do is, if I've got a permission on a field, I'll come into here, find the field on here, choose the map, and I tend to use the OS 6-inch 1888 to 1913 map. I find that quite a nice one. And then you overlay your transparency on. Have a look at that first, and you can see things like footpaths and boundary lines, interesting stuff that doesn't exist anymore. It did back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So you can see a few footpaths on here. And then I tend to overlay it just mildly so you can still see the current landscape underneath, so you can see your field boundaries and where the old footpaths used to go across, which is really useful. So you can see quite a few footpaths on this. So you find your area, choose your map and your overlay, get it just to the transparency you'd like it, and once you've got that done, simply screenshot it. So press the print screen button on your laptop or whatever you use to screenshot, take a screenshot of that, open your paint program. I use an old copy of PaintShop Pro purely because it's just handy. Paste your screenshot into there as we've got here, and then from your screenshot just zoom in a bit and check that you're happy. You can see it there, you've got some nice footpaths across these fields. So yeah, that's nice because your GPS is going to zoom right in, but you'll be able to see yourself walk along these footpaths, which is brilliant. Once you're happy you've got everything you need on that map, then you need to crop it. So choose a section that hasn't got all the writing in from the web, trim that, and there we are. We've got a nice little section, and that is going to be what we see on our GPS. Now, because the screens aren't always particularly bright, what I tend to do is just adjust the brightness and contrast a bit. You can see there, you know, just 23% brightness, 23% contrast in this case, just brings it up that bit brighter. So you can see the difference that's made, just brightening it up a little bit, and that gives us a nice map to work off, and that's going to look good on the sat nav. If you're using a non-colour grayscale sat nav, which I think it will work on, then what you may want to do is grayscale it. Most programs let you do that. So then, as we see here, it's now turned it grayscale. My Garmin, it's colour, so I'll keep it colour and save that as a JPEG. So I'll call it Lemster. That JPEG's all we need. That's going to let us do the mapping we need. It's helpful if you capture a bit with some distinctive lines on, like here we've got roads and the railway line and everything here. So that's really helpful if you've got roads and railways on, because it'll help you line things up when you get into Google Maps next. So the next thing you need is Google Earth Pro. It's a download, it's a free download. It's a reasonable size, but it's a cracking program. It's really useful. I use that so that I can look at my fields and go back over many years, because it holds a timeline of years of satellite pictures, and then you get dry summers and wet summers, which show different features up in your field. So again, that's useful. So you fire up Google Earth, there we go, and it zooms in on the whole Earth, and it knows you're in the UK. And I've also got a pin for Lemster, so if you've pinned your field, you can just double click your field and Google Earth will zoom right in for you. And look at that, you see this, the line down the centre there, and this line over here. If you compare that to our screenshot, you'll see the line over here and up here and the road off that side. That's nice features that should allow us to match things up. You've got a road down here as well, so that should help us match all that up for the next stage. So zoom out just a little bit, and what you do then is on the menu bar, hopefully you can see it under my recording software, is click Add and Image Overlay. All we do then is give it a name so that it's going to keep this as our map, so I'll call it Lemster. but you may want to call it whatever your field's called. Browse for that screenshot we've just taken and select it, and you'll see that it's now put that screenshot onto our map. But it's not in the right place, it's just put it in here for us. The next stage, which is important and it's worth doing now before we forget, is over on this overlay properties. Choose the altitude tab, and in here is something called draw order. That puts the level of your maps, anything below 50%, any existing maps on your GPS, and it will draw this underneath it so you won't see it. So I usually just put 75 in there. What that does is that it makes sure that this map is always on top of any other GPS map that you're looking at. So that's that. Now you'll see there's a cross in the middle, green cross, green diamond, corner and side pieces. All those allow you to reshape it and to rotate this map, and what we need to do is match this with the map underneath. Now it's not easy to see, but up here on the menu option there's an opaque slider, and it lets you slide that in and out for your opaqueness, and you'll see that now we can see stuff much clearer. So the first thing we need to do to keep it easy is that we'll move it across to where that straight line and that railway meet, and it looks way too big. So if we zoom in on Google Maps and shrink this down, bring it across, still way too big. So you see I'm just trying to join up this corner around the bend here. So we're in line on that and the corner, but we're a bit high and this road doesn't meet, so we'll bring this side over to get that road to meet. I think we need to come down just a little bit to fit in, squeeze across, a bit more to that side. In fact you can see some hedge lines around here, and they're starting to meet up nicely now. That road's still a little bit off at the top. We need to move that across. Maybe bring this side down. And that's not looking too bad now. I'm not going to go absolutely perfect for this, it's only a demo. So hopefully you see now as I move that out and back in that we're lining up on all the roads and the railway lines and everything there now. You can see all the roads and railways line up. When you're happy with it and it's all in place and you've got your draw order at 75 and a name, you just say OK to that, and that draws that on your map forever, as far as you've got Google Earth. So whenever you open Google Earth, that's available. If you untick it, it will disappear on the left. Tick it and it's back. Now that we've got that, we can actually save this out as a map file. So file, save as, save place as, and it comes down here and it's already calling it lempster.kmz. That's exactly what you want. So just save that somewhere on your PC so you've got it as a reference. So that's our map. That's actually our map file. It understands, the Garmin's understand the KMZ file to be a custom map. So we save that and we're all good. All that leaves us to do now is to actually transfer that file onto our Garmin. So with most Garmins you leave them turned off and you plug them in via the USB and they'll boot up and eventually appear on the screen. And there they come. So G drive on mine is Garmin itself, and I drive on mine is the USB card. So if we take our lemster.kmz file, copy that, go to our Garmin USB, and then you need to make sure there's a folder on your USB drive named Garmin. So this is important, uppercase G, Garmin. Inside there you need another folder called Custom Maps, uppercase C, uppercase M, and no space, so just the word Custom Maps. Open that, let's get rid of this one. Open that, and in there you put your KMZ file. Now if you've got lots of fields, like you saw I already had one in there, I could have left that in. You can put all your field files in here and it classes them all as a single custom map set. So you can either load all of them or load none of them, but it's fine if you want to put lots in. So you can have as many as you want in there. And we're done. So safely eject your device, and I'll show you the rest of the process on the Garmin itself. As far as making our map goes, we're there. Okay, so I'll eject my device and we'll move over to showing you what to do next on the Garmin itself. Okay, so on to the next section. Here's my Garmin turned on as it would be at the start screen. What we need to do first is go to the setup section, and within setup, I mean they're all slightly different, but the gist of these should pretty much be the same. Within setup you have a maps section where you can choose your map, and down the bottom here we see map information, select map. We go into there and you can see on mine I've got my GB one enabled and the base one disabled. If everything has worked properly, then down the bottom you should see disabled custom maps. It may automatically enable it for you as well, and hopefully you can see that, but it actually says Lemster KMZ. So it's detected a custom maps folder with a custom map in it. Simply choose that and choose enable. Now even though we are running a base map, because we chose 70% in the draw option in Google Earth, it should overlay our map on top of our default map. So when we go in our GPS, we should be able to see it. Okay, so we can go back to our home screen and we can go to our GPS maps, and what I'll do now is I'll just pop on that, and because I'm not obviously in Lemster, it's not going to pick it up as that location, and I'll just scroll to the Lemster area to show you the next part. Okay, so we're at Lemster now. As you zoom in, you'll see a square over the map. That's our overlay, so that's showing that it's correctly working. You can see Lemster on the normal map, but it's overlaid our map on top of that. So if you're in that location and you fired up your GPS, you will turn up at that map location. And then as we zoom in, you can see that's exactly our map that we drew up. Hopefully you can see that. So if you were there and you turned it on and you got your GPS fix, this is where it's going to turn up in the map, and you can zoom in as much as you want to, and you see all your map with your fields and your footpaths and everything else that we just captured. And that's pretty much it. So it doesn't take that long. Most of this you've seen me do it in real time, copying it across, turning it on, enabling. So the tricky bit is getting all that alignment on the maps, but once you've sorted that, the next phase is fairly straightforward, and I think you'll agree that's pretty blooming cool when you're out metal detecting, to be able to walk on the ancient maps rather than have a piece of paper. I always have pieces of paper with me, and you try and guess and you look at features, but you're never quite sure. No satellites in here. Never quite sure, whereas with this it's as accurate as you did that overlay, but it should be pretty darn close. And it reminds you of bits that aren't there. So if you go on digs and you do a slightly bigger area, because you can overlap these, so you can do a big area. If you go on a dig but you don't know which field, you could capture all the fields around that area, put them in here, and then when you get there you turn your GPS on and you can have a look to see what's there. So yeah, I'm really chuffed. And there you go, one ancient sat nav. Okay, so there you go. I hope this has been useful. Hopefully it made sense and you followed it. Any questions, just ask me, or ask me on Facebook. I mean, several other groups there where I've posted about this. So any questions, just ask. Hopefully it's straightforward. The tricky bit's just lining your map up. But I hope you enjoyed that. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye now.